The United Kingdom, located in the British Isles, consists of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, a union forged over centuries of conquest, cultural exchange, and evolving political ambition. Its history is not only a chronicle of invasions, battles, and triumphs but also a saga of social, technological, and artistic transformation that has left a profound legacy on the modern world. Prehistoric and ancient foundations. Thousands of years ago, the British Isles were home to the enigmatic beaker culture. Named for their distinctive pottery, these early inhabitants left behind few written records, yet their influence is evident in the region's megalithic monuments. It is widely speculated that they contributed to the construction or cultural context of Stonehenge, a prehistoric complex of massive standing stones meticulously arranged to mark the astronomical events of the summer and winter solstices. This early period laid the foundation for a cultural landscape that would later absorb waves of new peoples and ideas. The Celtic Age and Roman conquest. As centuries passed, various Celtic-speaking groups arrived from mainland Europe, gradually forming the Brittonic, Gaelic, and Pictish tribes. These communities shared common linguistic roots, religious rituals, and artistic traditions, although they were never united under a single political entity. Their decentralized structure allowed for a diverse array of local customs and governance, setting the stage for a dynamic cultural evolution. The arrival of the Romans in the 1st century AD marked a turning point. Conquering vast swathes of what is now England and Wales, the Romans established the province of Britannia. Their legacy is evident in the enduring Roman infrastructure, roads, aqueducts, and fortifications such as Hadrian's Wall, that not only facilitated military control but also fostered economic integration and cultural exchange. While Roman administration brought law, order, and a measure of urbanization, their influence was uneven. The rugged and fiercely independent Pictish tribes in the north remained largely beyond Roman control. Post-Roman transformation and the Anglo-Saxon era. With the withdrawal of Roman legions in the early 5th century, the vacuum left behind invited new groups to settle. Germanic tribes, the Jutes, Angles, and Saxons, migrated across the North Sea and established themselves throughout Britain. This period saw the gradual development of Old English as the vernacular, a language that would evolve into modern English over the ensuing centuries. The displacement of the native Britons led to their retreat into peripheral regions such as Wales, Brittany, and Cornwall, where distinct cultural identities survived despite external pressures. During this era, Scotland witnessed the emergence of 4 primary kingdoms: the Scots, who had migrated from Ireland, the Britons of Strathclyde, the Angles of Bernicia, and the Pictish realm of Alba. Meanwhile, in what is now England, several Anglo-Saxon kingdoms coalesced into powerful entities: Wessex, Sussex, Kent, Essex, East Anglia, Mercia, and Northumbria. Although these kingdoms were often in conflict with one another, they collectively set the stage for the eventual unification of England under a single ruler. Viking incursions and the medieval mosaic. The late 8th and 9th centuries ushered in the age of Viking raids. Seafaring warriors from Scandinavia not only looted and plundered but also settled in various parts of the British Isles. Their influence was particularly profound in northern and eastern England, where the establishment of the Danelaw introduced Danish legal and cultural norms. The Vikings also founded urban centers, most notably Dublin in Ireland, and left an enduring mark on local place names and language. In response to these incursions, the native populations began to reorganize politically. In Scotland, the unification of the Picts and Gaels under Kenneth MacAlpin led to the creation of the Kingdom of Alba, a critical step in the formation of modern Scotland. In England, figures such as King Athelstan emerged to consolidate power and are credited with laying the foundations of a unified English nation. Even as Danish King Knut briefly ruled England, leaving behind traces of Norse language and customs. The Anglo-Saxon identity reasserted itself through subsequent generations. The Norman conquest and the reshaping of England. The death of Edward the Confessor precipitated a succession crisis that culminated in one of the most transformative events in British history, the Norman conquest of 1066. Harold Godwin's son, the last Anglo-Saxon king, faced William, Duke of Normandy, at the Battle of Hastings, a conflict that resulted in William's decisive victory. The Normans introduced sweeping changes to English society. They brought feudalism, restructured land ownership, and constructed a series of formidable Motte-and-Bailey castles to secure their dominance. The commissioning of the Domesday Book, a detailed survey of the land and its resources, provided a snapshot of England's economy and laid the administrative groundwork for centuries to come. This period also saw the integration of Norman customs and language, elements that would significantly shape the evolution of the English identity. Medieval dynasties, crusades, and rebellions. The centuries following the Norman conquest were characterized by both consolidation and conflict. The Angevin Empire, established by Henry II and later championed by his son Richard the Lionheart, extended English influence deep into continental Europe. Richard's participation in the Crusades bolstered his reputation as a warrior king, while domestic challenges led to seminal events such as King John's forced signing of the Magna Carta, a document that enshrined the principle that even monarchs must abide by the law. In Wales, the emergence of powerful local leaders like Llywelyn the Great underscored the region's distinct identity. Although periods of unity were achieved, such as the brief unification under Llywelyn ap Griffith, these moments were often short-lived in the face of English military and political pressure. Similarly, Scotland's struggle for independence found expression in the legendary resistance of figures like William Wallace and Robert the Bruce, whose military victories secured a measure of autonomy against repeated English incursions. The Hundred Years' War and the Wars of the Roses. The 14th century was marked by protracted conflict between England and France in what came to be known as the Hundred Years' War. English forces, bolstered by the tactical brilliance of the longbow, achieved significant victories at battles such as Crécy, Poitiers, and Agincourt. Yet, the resilience and eventual resurgence of French forces, symbolized by the inspirational leadership of Joan of Arc, led to a gradual erosion of English territories on the continent. Following the death of Edward III, a succession crisis ignited the internal strife known as the Wars of the Roses, a bitter conflict between the rival houses of York and Lancaster. The resolution of this civil war paved the way for the rise of the Tudor dynasty, which would profoundly reshape the nation's religious, cultural, and political landscape. The Tudor Revolution and the Age of Exploration. The Tudor period, beginning with Henry VII and reaching its zenith under Henry VIII and Elizabeth I, was one of radical transformation. Henry VIII's break with the Roman Catholic Church not only led to the establishment of the Church of England but also redefined the relationship between the monarchy and its subjects. His tumultuous personal life, including 6 marriages and dramatic acts of political retribution, captured the public imagination and left an indelible mark on English history. Under Elizabeth I, England experienced a cultural and political renaissance. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588 established England as a formidable maritime power, while the flourishing of literature and the arts, epitomized by the works of William Shakespeare, heralded a golden age of English creativity. This era also saw the beginnings of British overseas expansion, with ventures into the New World that included both the ill-fated Roanoke colony and the successful establishment of Jamestown in North America, the Union of Crowns and the birth of Great Britain. The political union of the British Isles took a significant step forward when James VI of Scotland inherited the English throne as James I, uniting the crowns in a personal union. Although England and Scotland maintained distinct legal and political institutions for some time, the seeds of a more integrated future were sown. The subsequent Acts of Union in 1707 formally merged the two kingdoms into the Kingdom of Great Britain, a union that would enable Britain to project its power more effectively on the global stage. Under the Hanoverian dynasty, Britain embarked on a series of military and diplomatic campaigns, ranging from the War of the Spanish Succession to the 7 Years' War, that expanded its territorial holdings and enhanced its international influence. However, these military adventures came at a high cost, both financially and in terms of human lives, contributing to significant national debt and prompting ongoing debates about the costs of empire, colonial expansion, the Industrial Revolution, and social change. The 18th and 19th centuries witnessed an unparalleled expansion of British influence through its colonial ventures. The taxation and mismanagement of the 13 American colonies eventually led to the American Revolution, resulting in the loss of a significant portion of Britain's imperial holdings. In India, the British East India Company expanded its dominion through a mix of trade and military intervention, setting the stage for direct British rule following the Sepoy Rebellion of 1857, a watershed moment that saw Queen Victoria proclaimed as Empress of India. Simultaneously, the Industrial Revolution transformed every aspect of British life. Innovations such as the steam engine, the telegraph, and the expansive network of railways revolutionized communication, transportation, and manufacturing. This period of rapid technological progress led to dramatic shifts in demographics, as people migrated en masse from rural areas to burgeoning urban centers in search of work. Although industrialization spurred economic growth and positioned Britain as a global superpower, it also introduced significant challenges: overcrowded cities, polluted air and water, and stark economic disparities prompted social reforms and the eventual rise of the labor movement. The World Wars and the end of empire. The 20th century was defined by conflict on an unprecedented scale. World War I, with its brutal trench warfare and staggering loss of life, reshaped national consciousness and imposed a heavy economic burden on Britain. The interwar period saw continued social and political upheaval as the nation struggled to adjust to a rapidly changing world. World War II further tested British resolve. Under the leadership of Winston Churchill, Britain withstood the onslaught of Nazi air raids during the Blitz and played a pivotal role in the Allied victory. Innovations in cryptography, epitomized by the work of Alan Turing and his team in deciphering the Enigma code, were instrumental in turning the tide of war. The aftermath of World War II heralded a period of decolonization. Nationalist movements across Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean led to the gradual dismantling of the British Empire. India's hard-fought independence in 1947 was followed by the liberation of numerous other colonies. The symbolic end of the empire was marked by the 1997 handover of Hong Kong to China, a poignant reminder of the transformative changes that had reshaped global power structures. Modern Britain, a multicultural society and a global player today, the United Kingdom stands as a vibrant, multicultural nation, its diverse society reflecting centuries of migration, cultural exchange, and adaptation. While the vestiges of its imperial past can still be seen in language, architecture, and legal systems, modern Britain is defined by its commitment to democratic principles, social welfare, and international cooperation. The political landscape has evolved into a constitutional monarchy with a robust parliamentary system that has influenced governance models around the world. Contemporary Britain also grapples with complex issues of national identity and regional autonomy. Devolution has granted Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland their own parliaments or assemblies, each with varying degrees of legislative power, while debates over Scottish independence and the status of Northern Ireland continue to shape political discourse. The 2016 referendum on European Union membership, a decision that led to the phenomenon known as Brexit, has further ignited discussions about sovereignty, economic policy, and Britain's role in the global community. cultural and technological legacies. The United Kingdom's cultural contributions have had a lasting global impact. British literature, from the medieval romances of Geoffrey Chaucer to the modern works of authors like J.K. Rowling, has enriched world culture. British music, theatre, and cinema continue to influence artistic trends across continents. In science and technology, British innovators such as Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, and more recently, figures in modern computing and biotechnology, have reshaped our understanding of the natural world and propelled humanity into new eras of discovery. British legal and educational institutions, steeped in centuries of tradition and reform, continue to serve as models for governance and scholarship worldwide. The evolution of the British legal system, with its emphasis on common law and judicial precedent, has provided a framework that underpins many of the world's most influential legal systems today. Reflections on a storied past and a dynamic future. The story of the United Kingdom is one of transformation, resilience, and reinvention. From its mysterious prehistoric origins through the conquests of the Romans, the turbulent epochs of the Anglo-Saxons and Normans, to the rise and fall of an empire that once spanned the globe, Britain's history is a testament to the enduring power of cultural exchange and human ingenuity. In its modern incarnation, the UK continues to balance tradition with progress, celebrating its rich heritage while adapting to the challenges and opportunities of a rapidly changing world. In the modern era, as Britain navigates the complexities of globalization, technological innovation, and shifting political alliances, it remains a key player on the international stage. Its institutions, cultural vibrancy, and capacity for reinvention suggest that while the challenges of the past have left their mark, they have also paved the way for a future defined by diversity, resilience, and a commitment to democratic values. This extended narrative offers a window into the multifaceted history of the United Kingdom, a history that continues to evolve and inspire, reflecting the enduring spirit of a nation that has profoundly influenced the course of global history.